Welcome to the 11th day of my 31 days of Halloween crafting. Today is all about experimentation. I got good results out of the last experiment with the glow powders, so I wanted to see what kind of effect I would get if I used it for painting. So today I am going to take these three colors. I will show you what they are. This is blue. This is orange red. And this one is an olivine is what it's called. So a kind of a green. I already took the inner caps off. These pots here, those right there are for the experiment. I'm going to mix my own paint out of these powders. Some triple thick Varathane polyurethane varnish. Urethane, oh boy, today, wow. My own mixing medium. And in this cup I have plain black. This is by a brand called Saks, and it is acrylic paint. I will be adding my mixing medium to the black to thin it down some. But I'm going to be adding these powders to the varnish. That way I'm going to see if the varnish dries absolutely clear. Even though it looks white, it dries clear. So I'm going to see about mixing my own colors for use. What I'm going to do is paint this 8x10 completely black and let it dry. Then mix these paints, or probably mix the paints while it's drying, so for time expedience. This is these luminous powders. These came from Temu. It is a 12 plus 3 color. And the reason why it's a 12 plus 3 is because it's not just luminous powders in here. It also contains 3 glitters. A yellow, a pink and purplish, and a blue and purplish. That's the plus 3. This kit also contains this olivine green. It is basically kind of a white to purple, to green. And it also contains the other two, where it was the white to light blue and one that is blue-green. So it comes with wonderful colors in here. I'm just trying to experiment with Halloween colors right now because, well, these colors aren't truly Halloween, but I figure I can make them Halloween just by doing a few things with them. So let me go ahead, get my paint mixed. I don't know if you want to see that or not, but I'll go ahead and do a mix real fast with the black paint. Now, I did put a lot of black in here, and that the reason why it's a lot of black is because it is extremely thick. This is why I purchased the sacks black and white. And I purchased them in, I believe it's a half-gallon size. Yes. I'll show you the bottle of the white because it's easier to grab right now. It's called Saks True Flow Heavy Bodied Acrylic. And it truly is heavy bodied. And that's what most acrylic artists strive to get. It is an inexpensive brand, but I have found it works beautifully. Oh my goodness, I haven't used my medium in such a long time, but it's still good. It basically contains Glowol, varnish, Floetrol, and some glycerin to keep it from drying out too quickly, because it's usually used for flow painting. This is not going to be a flow painting. So I put a healthy dose in here at first. And I'll go ahead and move these little pots out of the way so you can see this. And it does take a little while to mix this in. But I just start in the middle and mix. Now remember, the Glowol I use dries clear. The varnish I use dries clear, and the Floetrol dries clear, and so does the glycerin. So this is pretty much a standard type of mix. I don't want it too runny, but I want it to be able to have good coverage. Get it all mixed in so there's no clumps. A little bit more mixing. That's about the right viscosity I need. I do not call it consistency, because consistency means that if you're mixing two fluids together or separately, and you want them to be the same viscosity, that's being consistent, and that's where the term consistency comes from. So I want to know what the viscosity is, what its flow rate is. Now this is a very opaque black. And it looks like I'm where I need to be for it. Before I use it though, I do need to clear my little top here. So let me get that done real fast. And I'll show you just how easily with my medium that this actually flows. Get these out of the way real quick. As you can tell, I have a pipette, a palette knife, a 1.5 inch, this is known as a chip brush. And we use these for base coating and things like that. It's not for real artistic things, although it can be used that way. And then I have some inexpensive paint brushes here. They're geared for children, but I like to use them in work I'm testing. So There is a chisel brush. There's no filbert brushes in here, but there are pointed and flat brushes. So I'm going to set those out of the way for the moment. I will be using the chip base, or the chip brush for the base. Normally I would put push pins behind this to keep it level and so that I could pick it up. And I would tape off the back. But as I'm doing this as an experiment, I'm not expecting, you know, wonderful results. However, it'd be nice if it comes out that way. Okay, let's see, is that, oh, that's viewable. I'll get the base painted, and then I'm going to go ahead and, you don't need to see the whole base be painted, but I'll show you what my technique for painting a base is. We remove the stick. Just dip. You can dip the brush in, which gets it really messy, or you can pour some of this out and get rid of the cat hair. And then wipe off the drips so you're not dripping it everywhere. I start from the middle and work my way out. As I said, I wanted this to be very thick. It doesn't really take that long to cover the base. Now, proper practice is to paint the sides as well. But I'm going to go ahead and pause you, get the rest of this done and dried. I'll be back in a moment. All right, base and all sides are covered. I will show you that I am wearing a glove today. I don't normally wear gloves when I paint, but as I'm doing other things today, with this experiment, it's better not to transfer as much color of other colors into other colors. So I'm going to go ahead, pause you here, get the blow dryer and dry this. And I don't normally blow dry my paintings because it can give the tendency to make them crack. So I have my blow dryer set on cool, and I'll be using low heat to do so. Back in a moment. Okay, I had to add a second coating on the top. I wanted it to be a really good, deep base. And so I'm going to go ahead, grab the blow dryer, and blow it out real quick. All right, second coat is dry. It's now ready for me to go place somewhere else and get back to the point of this entire video, which is the experiment. So I have to mix my own paints, and I'll show you in a moment how to do that. All right, as you can see, I have labeled gel here and varnish here. This is labeled with a G, and this is with a V. So what I'm going to do is get these out of the way now. And what I'm going to do here is put the same amount of powder in each area. So I'm just going to take a healthy amount, place it right here. I'll go ahead and close this lid up. Set that aside. And you want a stick for each. Now this is the varnish. I'm going to just use a pipette to put some down. It's the only thing I have that's long enough to get in there. I don't want to pour it out in a cup. It's not necessary because I'm not using that much. Now it is triple thick, so it takes a little bit of time to get up into the pipette. There we go. As I said before, I cannot read these pipettes, but I just go by sight anyway of what I need. And you just want to pour it over. And hope it doesn't do that. Now before I add any more, I am going to begin mixing this just as it is to prevent powder from going everywhere. Once you get the powder wetted down, you can add as much as you need of the varnish. Okay, it seems to be nicely wetted down right now. I'm going to add one more of these. And of course, I just turn the bottle sideways to get down in there. Excuse me, my throat is really bad today. A little itchy. It just tells me I need to hurry up and stockpile a few days worth so that I can get busy. And you know how you do spring cleaning? Well, I also do winter cleaning since I get stuck inside all the time. And your home actually builds molds throughout the year, so that's why you do all the heavy cleaning you can. Now I'm going to do this with each of the colors. So right now I'm going to set this down here. Close up the bottle, don't want it drying out. Grab the gel medium. It is made by Handy Art. There are times when you need thinner paint and times when you need thicker. This is a thinner paint. You do want to mush it down several times over. Okay, let's get some gel onto this one. Seem to have collected a hair in there somehow. Must have been the last time I opened it. And I do want a healthy amount of the gel as well. Enough so that I have enough to fill those little pots over there. Trying to judge how much to grab out is a little bit more difficult because those pots are so small. Big John, hush, honey. Don't talk to me like that. No, don't. Close up the jar. I'll set my little stick on top because I may not have to use any more sticks. I'll just go ahead and get this. Begin incorporating it, and you see that little chunk of stuff right there? We just grabbed that up too. We just don't want that hair that's sitting beside it. Big John, hush, honey. No, it's not time for loves right now. No. Now, these will always look paler because of the white look before it dries. So, we're just experimenting to see if the glow effect will be there. Scrape it up. Now get in there and really mush that stuff down. Get it mixed in really well. Oh my goodness, Big John. Get all the chunkies up into it. Scrape to the center again. He is such a loudmouth, isn't he? He is actually more annoying than Rex because all I have to do with Rex is allow him into the bedroom and he just gets happy. Unless, of course, I can't get one of his brother puppies into the room. And then he just has conniptions and wants back out because nobody else is in there with him. And then sometimes he just doesn't care. Those are the good days. Okay, we're getting this in there really well. Now, both of these mediums are quick drying. I'm going to grant that is extremely quick drying. So you do have to work slightly fast at this. You get it mixed, you get it in, and you get it covered as fast as possible. Scrape it up as well as you can. Sometimes you'll have to push or tap it down in. I'm going to tap it down a little bit, get it to fill up the bottom so I can get the rest of this in. Oops, see, there's a big chunk I missed. But don't worry. And yes, you will see some of the medium also not mixed all the way. So what you do is you just get it in there like that and stir a little bit. Okay, the gel is done. Now, yes, it's going to be a little bit harder to get the varnish up. Get that scraped off real fast. Whoa! Come back here, lid. Try not to have anything along the edge when you close these up, or you will have some problems opening them again. Okay, that's on. Now I want this to continue being exposed to the light, so I'm going to turn it upside down. Get this finished mixing. It's already trying to dry, so I'm hurrying as fast as I can. Now you're going to want something thinner to pull this up. So I'm going to use this long enough to get up that much. Stir that in some more. I see a little streaky. I also see some white chunks where it's trying to dry out. Okay, you get as much as you can with the stick. Throw the stick away. And this is where a palette knife comes in. It's much thinner. I know I'm sometimes getting out of frame here, and I'm sorry. Just trying to control the drips here. Now, I did not make as much of this because I probably won't use it a whole lot. This is, like I said, experiment. If I wanted to, I could add a little bit more of the varnish to that. All right, let me get this lid on here. And as with the other one, I will turn it upside down. It'll be a bear to get that opened again without getting goo all over the place, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, let's scrape up what we can here. Wipe everything down. And yes, please wipe all your tools down very well. And what I use, of course, is a spray bottle to get this to soften again. I'll probably wipe these off, unfortunately, the words. Okay. And this keeps anything from drying on your tools. And let's get this up so it's clean for the next round. And so now that you've seen that process, I will go ahead, put you on pause, and get the other two colors done. And I might even get a couple more colors done if this works out with the glow. Another napkin. And I did not write on my silicone mat. I did put a piece of tape down to write on. All right, I'm going to pause you, clean this up the rest of the way and catch that hair off of here and back as soon as the others are mixed. All right, I have 3 in the gel and 3 in the varnish. And I think I know what that little sound on my phone means. I'll pause and be right back. Well, it wasn't what I was hoping for. So it's okay. Hopefully the next notice that comes in on my phone will be what I'm hoping for. And anyway, back to, I want to find out if these have a good glow. So I'm going to go ahead and start turning lights off. You'll see before I do, okay? So just a moment. All right, that was the overhead light. I do have direct sun, almost direct sunlight. I've got a lot of sunlight outside right now, which I'm thankful for because, well, winter's coming and won't have a whole lot of that soon. Okay, so I'm just looking for my remote for the other light. There it is. And let's see what happens. Try to get more darkness up here. And I do see some glow. Not a lot right now.
From the web.
Oh my goodness. I must have touched something on my tablet accidentally. So I'm not seeing a whole lot right now because of the extra light. It is there if I cover it. So this is what was left over from the last time. And it is solid hard. But that's the pretty blue glow. And let's see if we can get this in here. Yeah, there is some glow, but not something you can tell right now. So I will probably be finishing this video up a little bit later because I have no way to get that sunlight off of everything. But what I will do is go ahead and do the painting. It's not going to be an actual painting per se. I'm going to be doing some stenciling on it and try to make it as spooky as I can. All right, in a moment, I'll be right back with the canvas. All right, these are all the stencils I have. So I'm going to use all 3. Get it set on here. Now I use painter's tape, and what you do is you fold one end over, then you pull and fold the other end over, if it listens to you. And then I don't want to get the hole in there, so I cover the hole and make sure that that's flat against that hole. Do not burnish it onto your paint. You can sometimes lift your paint when it's not fully cured, and it's not because I just did this painting today. So what I'm going to do is a layering effect, and I'll remove these 2 stencils until I have this one done. This is one of the ones that came in damaged. It's got a lifted edge here. So I probably will not go into this area and not get this tree right here. So I want to tape that off. And so we grab another piece of tape. Get it that length plus a little over so that you can adhere it to the side. Go ahead and get your one edge folded over first. we're going to tape this. Oops. May have to move that over just a little bit. And up. We'll try to get it right between that tree right there. And it's going to want to lift this other side here because I'm pushing down on the bent side. Okay, I think that's good enough right there. I'll burnish it just a little because I really don't want it lifting the other side. Really, that frog's living in my throat today. And what I'm going to do now is just get up as close between the two tree areas that I can. A little hard to see when my own fingers are in the way. There we go. And then take it off the edge. Make sure I leave enough to be able to pull that off easier. And for those that's never seen this done before, it is done so that the stencil doesn't move or lift when it shouldn't. I'll get a long strip for this side here. And of course, fold over. This just makes it 10 times easier to remove the tape. Get along this edge. Move my paint. Varnish it onto the stencil, not the painting. Fold it over so that it holds that side down. Now, as I said, it's trying to lift right here. We don't want that. So what I'll do is I'll put another piece of tape down here at the bottom. Burnish it on. Hold it flat right there. We're at the tallest part of the bend. Go ahead and press down to the side there. Now it's keeping a lot of it down. I should not have to do this side, but I will do a little bit on that side. All right, that's taped down. The next step is to decide how you want to put that down. So we're going to be using the paste first, okay? And I'm going to reserve a section for the more liquid paint so we can see what the difference will be. So I'm going to do this tree and this tree with the paint. So I want to get the paste. Well, we want to do the paint first. Let me grab a brush. It's got to be a small enough brush. but yet wide enough that you can actually just follow down. And do not push too hard, because if you do, you're going to go underneath the stencil, and you don't want to do that, because then it becomes cleanup. Now, the reason why I'm doing the liquidy one first is because it is done and made with varnish, and varnish dries a lot faster than the gel does. And yes, you will want to have it dry before you start in on the paste portion. So just down and on, down and on. Now remember, it looks clearer. I will put a little bit extra on just to show you that there is color to it. But we're going over a black surface. And I'm not going to be too meticulous about whether it goes under or not at this point, because this is just a test. And I will probably do 2 layers. It is lifting just a little bit there, so I'm going to go ahead and press down. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has gone under. I'm going to go ahead and get this area here. With each time I do this, I'm going to go ahead and dry it with the blow dryer for the essence of time's sake. There is one thing that you will need to know and consider, is that if you need to do a second coat, please, or if you think you're going to need to, please remember to leave the stencil on, as you will never get it back in the right place. It's pretty much an improbability. I am pressing, but it is kind of light. And the stencils are still going to be easy enough to clean up, because varnish, when it dries, is able to peel off the plastic. I will run into one problem, and that is going to definitely be that the varnish paint has gone under. So when I dry this, it will try to stick and maybe even pull some paint off. So we'll see what happens. We'll get a couple of things here. Varnish, when left to dry naturally, takes about an hour. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause here. I will bring out my blow dryer and I will dry that section. I have to close up my paint first though, otherwise I'll be drying it. All right, I'll pause you and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the next layer on that. Luckily, it takes about 10 minutes instead of an hour if you use a blow dryer. But as I said, if you use a blow dryer, you can risk creating cracks. So if you're doing this instead as an actual painting that you want to keep, you do not want it to have that issue. Now I'm going to get it as layered up on there as possible. So that it's nice and thick. And of course, I forgot that one the first round, so we'll just do that. Go ahead and get my fingers held down because some of these are still going to lift. The only reason why I'm layering it as thick as I am is because it's on a black background and I want to see the results and I want to see them well. If they're going to glow, I want that nice and visible. And after this test here, we will find out if using varnish or gel medium stifles the glow or it's just as glowy. We'll see. And the only way to really truly tell that is when it's dry. As you can tell, my household is quiet right now. My husband's at work. He does deliveries for our local lumber yard here, and he's out of town right now for that. He travels a lot, but he's always back at night for dinner. You know, sometimes you don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, so it is what it is. I met my husband online through a gaming chat called WChat. It was when Westwood Studios had the chat for their Command and Conquer games. I didn't play games. My son did, and he's the one that told me about WChat, my eldest. He was, of course, a big-time game kid who is now 45 years of age. Horrifying when you know that your eldest is 45 and when you know that your youngest is turning 40 this year. In fact, in a few days. See, when I was pregnant with her and I ended up becoming allergic to the oranges, I went in the hospital. She was born the 28th of October. And I was actually released on my birthday on the 31st. So it was hilarious. I got out just in time to put her in her very first Halloween costume at 3 days of age. It was cutting it really close, I'll tell you. She was almost born on my birthday. And that would have been bad because I've actually known people who have had children born on their birthday, and those birthdays are soon forgotten for the adults. The children take precedence, and when they turn adult, it still seems to work that way. Kind of almost the same with having a birthday on a holiday like I do with Halloween. My children were more important growing up, and their happiness, of course, was my main focus. Raising children, that's what you do. You make them your main focus until they're grown and adult. And preferably, you've prepared them enough to go out into the world and become viable members of society. And I think I managed to do that. They've had their issues for sure. I was always there for them. I was their buffer. It is true that children, whether they reach the age of 18 and become legally an adult or not, are not actually emotionally set yet. And so you don't allow them to make too many, you allow them to make their own decisions, and if it's a mistake, it's a mistake, and then you be there for them, and you let them know that you're still there. But don't let it become an extreme habit. That has happened to me. For many years, some of my children bounced back and forth so many times because they always knew I was there and would catch them when they fell. And then they had really no incentive to try to figure life out on their own. And sadly, well, let's put it this way. Three of them have been in jail. One several times. And this is before they finally grew up and became mature, got some wisdom. And I don't know, I think one of them's slipping back a little bit. with her circumstances where she's at right now. But, you know, you cannot live your children's lives for them. You have to let them make their own decisions, good or bad, foolish or not. Wisdom has to be earned through life experiences. You can't teach anybody wisdom. They have to find it out for themselves. And as much as I absolutely love my children, I don't have to love the mistakes they've made. And all you can do is say, okay, well, you know, it caused that, so try not to do it again. Or maybe it shouldn't happen again. Maybe, you know, figure a different way to do things. Give them the ability to know that they have the power all on their own to do it. They don't need somebody to do it for them. Sometimes we may, as parents, want to, because, you know, well, they're your children, you want to look out for them. But sometimes that's more detrimental for them. All right, these are beginning to dry now, and I will stop my sermon back in a few when this is all completely dry and I can get to the paste. All right, I'm ready for the next step. And I've noticed that my video is almost an hour now. So I'm going to show you on this tree real fast. And then I'm going to pause you while I do the other two stencils and come back when they're dry. So you just want to pick some of this up. Sorry, I just came back from outside. I have a Temu haul video to make after this. So you just want to scrape slightly across. And I can hear the grit of the powder. It does not dissolve all the way, but that can be a blessing. And what I am doing right here is I'm working from the other side right now, back over towards where I was. And see, this is lifting, so I have to be very careful in this area. Now, I'm not looking for structure doing this. I'm just, of course, it's just a test. If I was going to actually try for structure, I would have probably used the modeling paste instead of the gel. As you can see, it does go far. Try to keep your palette knife as flat as you can. Only push slightly. And it's all right to leave a little bit extra. As I said, these kinds of mediums, they do peel off of plastic. In fact, acrylic paint itself peels right off of plastic. Whoops, see, now. Get a tissue here, since it's softer. This is one of the things I'm trying to avoid by coming backwards on it. Then I'll turn it around and I will do the other side. Well, I'm going to have to turn it around now because I've got too much on my knife right now. So scrape off. I really hope I'm more in frame, but I am trying to get this where I can see it as much as possible. That area is still lifted pretty well there, right there. Oops. As I said, keep your palette knife as flat as you can. Only take up a little bit for these small areas. And I will also say that, excuse me, when this dries, you don't leave the stencil on while the paste dries. Sorry, doing and thinking at the same time. A little bit distracted because of the time frame I'm in. But you will be peeling your stencil off as soon as this is laid down. See if I can get this one really quick. There we go. And then try to stay away from those other parts as much as you can. Go ahead and turn this a little bit more so I can get a more direct. And I scrape right into the branch or the tree trunk. Ta-da! A little bit more. All right. Now if you want to, you can take your palette knife edge and scrape toward you to get up some more of that. But really, the more you leave on, the easier it is to peel it off of your stencil. And remember to always try to do it gently. All right. Get the lid for this. Now my arm was getting quite tired on trying to get the one side to dry, holding the blow dryer. So necessity is the mother of invention, and I came up with, well, just cut the side of a cup out and put it on that, and that worked out really well. All right, now to show you, excuse me, how to lift these. You allow it to work itself off the stencil first, and it'll automatically come off your painting. Okay, let's bring this one off. Get these in the garbage real fast. And because this is the end that lifts, I'm going to work towards it. Hold your stencil down while you pull. And then what you can do is, instead of lifting this end, you lift your stencil carefully. As I said, I was figuring the dried Varathane paint would come up and try to stick. So I'm trying to be very careful not to let it flop back down. And then just pull off the end like that. All right, I'm going to pause you, and I'm going to get the other two stencils done, and be back when they're dry. I thought I'd come back and show you that, as I said, I went and washed the other stuff off because it was fresh. But with this, all you have to do is kind of lift it at one corner and then peel. And that saves you your stencil and a lot of extra cleanup time. So I'm going to go ahead and put you back on pause, finish cleaning this, and get the rest done. While I was cleaning the stencil, I did notice that when it lifted on this side, there are two areas in which it took the black paint. It was in here and here. That one and that one. So as I save paint, I'm just going to dip my little brush in here. And try to avoid these areas that are still wet. Oop, got black paint on me. How about that? And we're just going to fill in that little area there. And that little area there. Don't see anything more except for maybe this one here. So, oh, that was just something on there. Okay, well, that's that with that. I'll be right back with all of this part done. So I sat here looking at the spider web because I want to put that on next. And I did think of the problem that if I do the spider web like I did this, these blacks will show up, yes, but there's going to be an entire different color on the black background. So I'm having a quandary as to whether to go ahead and put the stencil to the canvas or paint the stencil and then lay it on the canvas like a transfer. So we'll see how that goes when we come back. I just wanted to show you what I did with the spiderweb. Now there are some areas where it did go under, but a paintbrush and some black paint will take care of that. And I do have, of course, detail brushes. So as soon as this part dries, I will get the other tree on, and we will see how each of those colors go. Back soon. Still waiting on these thicker parts here to cure and, well, dry and cure a little bit. But I think I've lost enough daylight to go ahead and try seeing what it looks like in the dark. So we're going to give that a shot right now. It's been exposed to light for a long time. Not necessarily daylight, which is actual UV light, but it's been exposed to lamp light like crazy. So let me go ahead and turn things off, and let's see how it goes for right now. And then we'll also try using the UV light to see what happens. Nope, I guess I didn't. Here, I'll just block it a little bit with my body. There's a definite slight glow there, but the black, I think, deadens it. The spider web, I used up all the liquid, and, well, the liquid, yeah. All the Varathane varnish, paint. It is there, but you can barely see it. It's definitely not all glowy. The white here, that is glowing because it's really thick right now. But as soon as it starts drying, it starts losing its brightness. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the UV light over and see what happens. Back in a second. Okay, I'm taking the painting away for a moment to test the UV light paints themselves, and we'll see how that goes. Give me a half a second to load it up. Okay, I'm going to put it on 99-second low heat mode, and back in a moment. All right, it's about done. Then we'll lift it off there and find out. And they do glow. The screen's a little bit empty, so unfortunately it's harder to see. I'll try to get it back down there. But they do take a little bit of extra light time, so a day, I guess, out in the light, or you know, a little bit extra time under a UV. This is the blue that I did in that resin pour, the white to blue, and I think that is just like the most gorgeous color. I'll put that down. I'll go ahead and move these, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to have to hold it, of course. Put it under a stronger light because I have to hold it. So let me see which of these settings is going to be better. We have a 10, a 30, and a 60. We're going to go under the 30 and see what happens. Wow, just put it under a black light, right? Look at that. I don't know how well you can see this, so I'm going to pick it up a little. But that's the two trees. Oops, let's put it on for another 30. That's the two trees with the orange to red. That green is picking up wonderfully. I don't know if you can see that up there, but I will try to get it in better lighting there. I know there's an awful bad glow, so I'm going to try to, you know, glare glow. All right, let's see. All right, so there's the spider web with its blues. The green's already beginning to fade. So I'm going to go ahead with a 60-second and see what we've got here just on the green and blue. And then this will be the last part of the experiment. And of course, if you like the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you are a subscriber, I love you guys. You guys have been wonderful. If you haven't subscribed, maybe you could consider doing so. And if you do, hit that notification bell. And please comment. Comments drive what I do. It helps me to understand what you like, what you don't like, and you know, it's just I like the engagement. Also, share if you can. Oops, darn thing keeps turning itself on because of that auto thing. Okay, so the green with the varnish did not do as well. The blue also with the varnish did not do as well, unless it's really thick like this area right here. But that green glow, that is fantastic. All right, everybody. You guys have been awesome. Peace out.